Gotta watch that one again, Kyle. That was cool. This is Utica 2022. Yeah, that was Utica. Here's Well, if you haven't figured out who our guests are tonight, now you have them right in front of us here. Kyle Paulson on your left, Alan Paulson on your right. Al Paulson. I keep seeing that. I know you as Al. Sorry, Al. It's all good. First of all, happy Memorial Day from all of us. I'm a veteran, but I never served. I never was in any dangerous. The most dangerous thing I did was throw a grenade in basic training. So shout out to all the families and the people that gave up their ultimate sacrifice, the sons and daughters that give us the freedoms we have here to live in the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. And just enjoy what you have and quit complaining all the time. So that's my speech for the night. So down and dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. Greg's going to join us around 7:30. John's got some other stuff going on tonight. But again, I got Kyle Paulson and Al Paulson with me here. John and Greg came to the shop, Al, a couple months ago? You said the snowiest day of the year. Is that what you said? So
we had 12 inches of snow that day.
Oh, Greg's probably like, road trip.
Greg says I can't do anything else. I might as well go do interviews.
Yeah. So we got down and dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers going earlier this year. I feel like I don't remember exactly. I finally just told Greg we're doing this and we're doing it. I called Strand Man and said we're doing it. And the first show we just kind of winged it, and that's how we named it, Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. I don't remember exactly who named it, but we had a bunch of comments on there, so it was a lot of fun. So, guys, pulling season really gets started now. I mean, really, people always ask me, what is pulling season? I say, basically Memorial Day to Labor Day. Obviously, we could literally pull 11 out of 12 months a year if we wanted to, if we're willing to travel south and stuff like that. Colin Burkholt's checking in. Would you look at this peanut gallery? coming from the big nut himself. Kathy Grace checking in. Brett Geek says happy Memorial Day. We do got the Strand Man with us. Good to see him. Manthe Paulson Farms are watching on the YouTube. So, but again, we have about a 35-minute video that we're going to play of a shop tour and just a good interview of Al. Al's got a long history with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. I don't know if you're still on the board or not, Al. I don't keep up with that anymore, but I know you've been on the board in the past. If you're not anymore, you're always volunteering and still doing all that. And then Kyle, how old are you now?
23.
Jeez, time's going fast. I remember the first time you drove the hot farm.
Yeah. Yep.
Your dad was so nervous, and that would have been 17, 18, somewhere in there, 5 years ago, maybe? No.
2016.
16.
It was on Father's Day down in Edgerton. John was announcing.
Yep, I remember it specifically.
Pretty awesome day. I'll never forget that.
Yep. No, because we'd always go to Macville, and then on Friday and Saturday, then we always go down to Edgerton on Saturday. And that little ballpark down there off to the side, I don't know if the FFA did that pull or not. I don't remember. Felt like they always had a couple Badger State classes. Then they had some local truck classes and stuff after we would pull as well. So good deal. Well, guys, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump into the interview. And then this is a pre-recorded interview that John and Greg did, again, on the snowiest day of the year. And it's actually really nice out today, but it's a good time to watch that. And once the interview's over, I'm going to bring Al and Kyle back on. Greg's going to join me. Stranley's trying to get his internet to work. And then we're just going to talk to you guys. So how's that sound?
Sounds great.
Sounds good.
All right, so get your popcorn. crack open a beverage and enjoy your interview here with John and Ross and Greg. So share my screen, do everything right here so you can see it. Here we go.
Paulson Crest Farm. Greg's been talking about farming. We visited the seed and corn part and cold storage, and got my partner Ross here with me. We got Kyle Paulson over here and Al, and we're sitting with the remnants of the tractor over the winter.
There isn't much left of it right now. Where's you got parts out in Ohio, you said?
Yeah, part of it's in Ohio, part of it's up in Minnesota, and I guess the rest is in Freeport.
Is there anything secret you're doing with the transmission you talked about, or is that pretty much common knowledge for people doing?
I think nowadays you're just trying to make it stronger so it doesn't explode again, and kind of girdling the inside of the casing so there's no more load anymore in the castings.
Oh, okay.
So it's all steel plated inside. So hopefully,
And who's doing that for you?
actually Brent Payne did that.
Brent Payne? Okay.
Oh.
So he's had a few of them out there like that?
He actually had the parts on the shelf.
He did?
He's done it.
Okay.
Perfect. And they've been holding up well.
Right, so that might go to, some guys having problems with component tractors, fixing, other than going to a component, do that maybe or something like that, right?
Yeah, I think today, obviously in our class, the component thing's probably going to be the way in the future down the road. It's not legal for us yet, but it is at the maybe this ain't the smartest idea.
Well, that's, when they came out with components for the 4-1s, I said, why are we going with 4-1s, these 8,500? They've got more horsepower and they're running 1,000 pounds less. I mean, why would you start there and not with the 4-1s? Or start there and not with the 4-1s? Makes sense to me, but not everything out makes sense to me, makes sense to everybody else.
Yeah. That's not, you don't have to agree. It's just to get a different view that way,
Right.
I mean, nobody has to agree on everything. Many of us here may not either, but at least if someone explains, how they see it, you get a different view on, where things are at. So,
Well, the components too are going to run 200 pounds lighter
then these.
than these, but I don't think that's enough myself. But I talked to John about it. He said, "Well, we'll adjust it if it's making that big a bit. If we got to go 300, that's what we'll do."
We're not going to know until we play it.
Right.
Right.
You got to get out and try it.
Yeah.
So it will. We'll be pulling with a bunch of them up at Macville. You guys will be good sanction that pull with light pros. So all of them, like Foresters, that whole group will all be on here.
So that'd be a good test. That'd be a good test to see.
Right. Yes. Yep. Let's hope the track is good enough so it really shows one way or the other. You know what I mean? That's a tough track up there too.
Yeah.
Not sometimes, but.
So you started out as a hot farm. Now you're light pro, you guys are. So you started out hot farm and pretty much built yourself and helped with Wildman's. Craig Wildman helped out and did the body work and you helped with chassis stuff and a bunch of hands in there.
Yes.
So how long ago was that you built this?
I think it was in 2009. No, it was before that, 8 actually, when I first bought this thing.
Yeah.
Brought it home and stopped at Wildman's with it and pretty much debated whether or not I should just hit a low bridge on the way home. It was a pretty tough looking ride when I brought it in.
I remember seeing it. Yeah, I was there.
And actually, we sold pretty much everything off that. The only thing we kept of it was the rear end housing.
Yeah.
Or the rear end itself. Do we want to do something with that dog?
Yeah, you may
Just let it
just let him out. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Cooper's one of the things.
Yeah, Cooper's not happy right now.
The dog wants to be in the show too.
Yeah. You should give him a John Deere bandana.
Right.
Are we better now?
Well, I guess we got the full team here now.
Right.
Yep, the mascot.
So, how many? You won a couple championships as a hot farm tractor too, didn't you?
We started pulling in 2010, and we won one pull that year, and it was down at Richmond Center. And then in 2011, we actually won the points championship that year. And then we were debating between the bar tire and the cut tire, or double cut tire at the time, and I put on a set of double cuts that maybe weren't the best tire. And then we went back we eventually ended up going back to the bar cuts again. And then we won 2 more championships and almost won a third one in 2016. That was the first year Kyle pulled, and he just turned 16 years old. And John, you remember that day at Edgerton?
Yeah.
That was the first time Kyle sat in the seat, and I got when the dust settled, he won the pull that day, and that was the best Father's Day ever.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you can see you on the sidelines doing this the whole time.
Right? Yeah.
And your wife biting her nails.
You weren't nervous, were you?
Oh, I was nervous.
Yeah.
That day was bad, especially because there was an accident and the ambulance had to leave. So Kyle got to sit and think about this whole thing for an extra hour or so.
Yeah, at least I remember it. It was like, it's Edgerton, so it's 95.
Yeah.
It was hot.
In a hole.
Father's Day.
In a hole. In a hole. They had no wind. Yeah.
But, even though that was so many years ago, that was still probably the coolest moment of my short pulling career so far.
Yep.
That's fun though, and us here too is we've talked about other places too. The enjoyment of watching your kids do that, and just like this one here when we go, small garden tractor pulling, I have just as much fun, if not more fun, watching him than anything else. And that's awesome that it's a family sport, and we talk about this all the time. Family, friends, and pulling. It just all rolls together. And your dad who passed away too. I mean, he was such an anchor here at the farm too, and part of the pulling too. He loved going to see you guys pull too.
He actually, this was before Badger State even started. He used to pull with Hawthorns and them down. We came from the wrong.
Yep.
And he used to pull with those guys, and that was right before Badger State started was when we moved up here.
Oh, okay.
1971 or so.
72.
Yep.
And that's when Badger State was basically putting down its roots at that time. And if we would have stayed in Monroe, I'm sure Dad would have been part of it. But
Yeah.
instead, we moved up here and got separated from it. But,
Well, Grandpa was good friends with John Anderson's dad.
oh, yeah. Yep, Ronnie and my dad and the neighbor there, they screwed around a lot together when they were kids and pulled a bunch of stuff that they probably shouldn't have done.
Who did?
Everybody did.
So how long has it been a light pro then?
Since 2017 was when we switched to Light Pro. And we didn't get out right away that year. A little bit. We got the motor like right when the season started. It ain't just quick throw it in there. There's a lot of little changes we had to make. And
Yeah, it was Utica, so that would have been August already.
Yeah.
That we got
First
it
week in
out.
August.
that was our first pass on it.
First pass.
Yeah, you want to make sure you get all that stuff right, because you won't get the motor, you'll send it away and you'll have to fix it again.
Yeah, we didn't want to send it away again.
Yeah.
And it's been really good. I was telling Greg earlier today, since 17, we never had the pan or the head off of that thing.
Till this year.
Until this year now, but
Transmission went and sent the engine upstairs. And
Yep.
one led to the other.
yes.
Yep.
That's the hardest part. We talked about that too. When you over rev an engine, there's gremlins in there. They just have not shown their head yet,
Yeah. You said the turbo was out of balance when they've had some little, on the exhaust side?
Yeah, the exhaust side, we actually hurt every single fin looked like a prong took a chomp out of it. On the backside, you couldn't see it from the front. You had to really shine into the light to even see it. But
Wow.
and we didn't see it right away.
Well, we went back and started watching some videos, and you could tell that the smoke got a little lazy.
Yeah.
It wasn't twisting up like it was.
Yeah.
So that could have been an indicator there that it was
Telltale. Yeah.
And you guys notoriously anyway turn a lot of RPM.
Yeah.
So when the smoke rolls out of here, it's straight coming out of the pipe for a good 2 or 3 feet before it starts billowing out anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it also didn't have far to go to really get ludicrous speed because it's already there going down the track.
Right. Yep. Yeah. What do you guys run for RPM normally?
Between 5,000 and 6,000, but I'd say 5,500 and 57 is pretty normal. So
Going down the track?
Yeah.
Yep.
Try to, our attack don't work, but we try to leave the line around 5,000. And depending on the track, depending on the
You don't need a tack.
No.
You're overrated.
Well, I remember Dad told me, hey, you just got to listen. And it took some getting used to, but especially when you're pulling in the dark, that's when it's kind of funny because you watch the smoke, then you watch the flame for a second, then you know you start pulling.
Yeah, the cold.
Yep.
We got heat. We can go.
Yep, the heat, when the fire went out, we can go already good.
Yeah, we're good now. Yeah.
That's old day pull, old school pulling. You had to watch the smoke. That's how you tuned it before dynos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun watching night pulls to see that, especially announcing when you tell the fans that. get to the pro stock class with the big pipe where you can really see that cone, and then it goes out and they're gone.
Yep.
That is exactly how you drive that thing. You know, we run a pretty good sized turbo with not a lot of cubes with 540, and you got to spin pretty hard to light it.
It's almost like a pro stock in the Netherlands, because I think they run 510
Yes,
with a big charger on them. So it's basically what you have, and the weight's probably pretty close too.
Yep. I think it is.
To the Netherlands. So you basically have a Netherlands pro stock sitting here.
It's kind of like, I think they're at 7,700 pounds if you convert it back to their metric tons or whatever they run. But I know that our motor was very similar to what Luke had in his tractor.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Back in
But aren't they component over there?
Yes.
I think, so that's the difference, yeah.
And I think they have Sigma pumps.
Yeah.
and coolers.
Coolers on them, yeah.
So that's actually pretty impressive for that light if they are 7,700 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, it component chassis is considerably lighter.
Yeah.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Yep.
So what got you into pulling it? What got you into wanting to pull with Badger State?
Well, I'll put most of that blame on the Wildmans. I was friends with Wildmans for a lot of years.
Coming to bulls?
Well, that eventually developed, but we used to haul grain together, or I'd haul grain down to Utica, Illinois, to the river. And they were always down there, and we talked and got to know each other kind of that way, and, you know, run into them and do stuff at pulls together. After a while, they'd be there and we'd come and visit with them, and started hanging out with them.
Doing stuff like that's almost friendship for me.
Yeah. I don't know, that's where I got the itch, and I guess finally I said I'm gonna build a tractor, and I talked to Craig about getting everything, and he said, why don't you just do it down here? You know, come down here every chance you get. So that's what I did for like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And I got thinking for a lot of that. That was, you know, I was so scared that, you know, I showed up with a brand new hood from Mid-State. It happened to be a takeoff, so it really didn't cost me anything. But I said, what do you want me to do, Craig? And he says, well, take a sawzall and cut 18 inches off the back of that hood. So that's the first thing
you do, yeah?
He doesn't change. He does that with everybody. Everybody that paid that hood is standing there. Are you sure it's going to be right?
Yeah, that'll be fine. Just cut it right here. Yeah. All right.
Well, that's what makes you do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I wanted to do it. I tried to do as much as I could. And
That stuff I let Craig do.
I remember the day I put the grill in this thing. I spent an entire day, and I bet you had to grill in and out of this tractor 100 times before I had it cut right. And it was all with a die grinder. It was a stock grill. It's about 10 inches shorter than a real
screen. You're cutting the screen.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But you know, it had to be done. And meanwhile, Craig's building 10 other tractors, and you know, there'd be a night where maybe I'd help with those instead. You know, because mine ain't gonna be pulling this year, and this one's got to get out the door because there's a pull coming up. So just work together.
You do what you can do, and somebody might be working on yours that knows what he's doing there, and you can help with something you know what to do with.
He knows that all too well the last couple of years. Come down there wholeheartedly working on his. Probably never touched it.
Never did.
While you're here.
Yeah.
Craig did say we had more beer in this thing than most pro stocks usually.
Probably, yeah.
He says there's a lot of beer in that tractor.
Yeah.
Good times though.
It was. Yep. I'll never replace those times.
No, that's the fun of it.
Yeah. Getting back to pulling, though, what's your favorite pull?
Well, I guess today, because we do a lot with the Dodge County Fair, that's our hometown pull. It's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding to have a nice facility like that with all that room, and we just keep trying hard to make a better track for the pullers.
And then you get all your friends get to see what you do. You get to show them. You can talk about it all you want, but until they get to see what you've got, you can be proud of what you got.
Yep.
How about you, Kyle?
I would have to agree with Dad. Going back to my first pull, I'd say I really like Edgerton too, and I think it would be a lot of fun to. I realize we don't pull at Edgerton anymore, but the Threshery pull. I think someday if we can get in there, that'd be really neat.
Yep, they're growing that. I think they want that to be a 2-track pull eventually, so that'll be neat.
Well, I'd say going back that first time I won, the first time I pulled Edgerton, that was pretty cool. So, but
But there's so many great ones. I can't really say one that I like more than another. There's so many good pulls that we were lucky to have.
Do you have one that you always usually do pretty good at that you go to?
For some reason, we seem to do good at Freeport.
Freeport?
Yeah.
Actually, even though we had a hurt motor this year, we won at Freeport.
Yeah, it was fun because we actually had some Western Series tractors there. We had Brian Mitchell and Justin Hopkins and
Luke Ross.
Luke Ross were there.
Yep. And they got like second and third, didn't they? A couple of tractors did, yeah.
They got second, third, and fourth. And Kyle beat Ryan Mitchell by about a foot then.
And I remember that. That was cool.
That was a good pass.
That's fun.
He's a tough one to get by.
Everybody is.
Yeah.
You can mix with other guys, other organizations. You've pulled in other places too. It's fun, and I think the best part about that is when you do that too. You make new friends, but you also learn.
Yep.
You know, because you're with a different crowd. You know, your senses are more. You know,
Right.
I'm trying to, it's not the normal group today.
Right.
That was the fun part about Hillsborough too, because you get a chance to pull against 17 tractors instead of
6 or 7.
usually 6 or 7, and
Yeah.
just hanging out with those guys. That's how you meet other people.
Is there any other tractors being built in Wisconsin this class that you know of? Or?
I got to talk to him. I've heard Roger Baum is actually getting one built.
He is, yep. He was on our show last week, Monday night. Yep. Talked about it.
And Kyle actually went to school with
Whalen
and
Mason.
Mason and Kyle went to short course together. So
Oh, wait a minute. All right, we're gonna hold on. So that was a good kid.
Well, Mason and Kyle were roommates the first year together.
Might as well do that again.
He was a good kid.
Yep.
Learned how to drink beer there.
Not for Mason, did you?
No.
Oh, no. I know we're going to the lies already.
You never told me anything about that.
Imagine that.
Right.
We kind of learned together there. So.
Yeah.
Yep. You went to short course, didn't you?
yeah, I would have went the year before you did.
Yep. I went too. Yeah. Yep.
So we were all kind of short course graduates of John here, I suppose.
Yep.
I rode the short bus.
The really short.
Right to the school of hard
Figured
knocks.
he was going to say it, so I might as well just get it out there. Yeah, save Greg on that one.
Right, you did. Save my voice.
Yeah.
That well, the next question is too. If you got your favorite poll, what if you could drive anything, and without having to pay the bill, just hop on and drive it? If you wrecked it, who gives a crap? Okay. What would it be?
I'll tell you what, these are a pretty good ride, but I'd still like to get on big pro ones.
Yeah.
How about you, Kyle?
I would say a big pro or a heavy alcohol super.
Who's? If you had to pick one of each.
Well, pro stock would probably be Danish Muckers.
Yep.
I've always liked the Rampage tractor. It's been like my favorite pro stock since I was his age.
Yep.
And it'd have to be a Blackburn tractor probably for the alcohol.
Yep. That's a good one. Number good ones. You had time to think about which one?
Oh, I'd gladly drive Wildman's tractor if they ever asked. And I'd put Travis on the seat ours too. I think, just because of the history.
I think these will be a more fun ride. I really do.
That's
more
what
of a challenge for driving.
Yeah, Troy Schradel tells us that because he did do both.
Yeah.
He says, our class is a hell of a lot better. It's a more exciting ride than on the pro stock.
Yep. I think it would be.
Yeah.
Other than the rumble and the beller of the pro stock coming off the line, I think going down the track, this would be more.
We don't have the boom clip you guys do, and that's the.
Yeah.
If that doesn't excite you, you got something wrong.
Yeah, you're not a tractor pulling fan. Yeah.
So what keeps you pulling with Badger State? You guys been here quite some time now, so 13 years.
Yep.
Might as well say, what keeps you coming back and pulling with Badger State?
Oh, I think we're a pretty elite group, and I think we're the best state organization in the country, and the people. I mean, the 100 friends we have that we didn't. 400 friends we have that we didn't have before.
Yep.
That's just like another huge family. That's the best part of it all.
Yep.
Fun and getting to see everybody in the summer.
We all do the same thing, work and fun. So you got a lot in common. So and most of the guys get along pretty good.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, the friendships we've built over this last 13 years, just because of pulling the Badger State, something you just can't. I don't know what you can do else to do that.
Well, for me, it's fun watching the next generations come up that I've seen them when they were this small to get to here and, and driving now and then telling us what to do, So my dad didn't know anything either, so that's.
Nice thing too, and being able to see that too is, I remember Nick Gallix was like this size too. And the worst thing of it is, Ross is this size. In a blink of an eye, he's going to be his size, his age, and where'd that go?
You have them go for a wrench, and they go for this and go for that. Next thing you know, they're going for the wheel.
Yeah.
And then you got to
And then every kid in badge, pulling in general, the kids are all good kids. You can very seldom see,
preoccupied. You got to preoccupied with something with yourself and doing good things rather than out doing things you shouldn't be doing.
Right.
Well, I'll be the first one to admit it'd be hard to continue if Kyle wasn't so interested.
Right.
It just makes it more fun.
Oh, absolutely.
And I even see that with my wife Kelly. She seems to enjoy it more now that Kyle's part of it.
Yep. Well, it's more of a family thing then, and you go and you set your grill up, get your cooler out after pulling, everybody has fun. Or before, whatever you do,
Well, and Dad's been looking forward to this for a long time because I can drive truck now. CDL and everything. So after a pull, he can have a few beers and enjoy himself.
Great.
Send me on the way home. So works out well.
It does.
Finally, all the years, huh?
Right.
All the years of that drought.
I don't have to be that designated driver.
You call them the drought years?
Drought years. So what else you guys enjoy other than pulling?
Well, we do enjoy farming most days. I'd say as far as fun though, we like to go up north. Fishing. We do some musky fishing up north, up in the Eagle River. I like to snowmobile. Dad snowmobiled for 20 years plus, going up to UP for a long time, and now I'm kind of getting the itch to do that same thing. So,
You guys do some camping too, don't you?
Yep, we got a really nice camper. We try to camp as often as we can. And we always take trips every year to kind of the same locations. We've been going to Toma I've been going to Toma for almost 30 years, and Kelly and I have been going for 25 up to Warren's. We used to at the Yogi Bear campground.
Yep.
And now we go to that pool every year as well. So now we got to take more stuff up there. We got to take the hauler, tractor, and camper goes 8 miles farther north to Warren's, and we get that all set up. But that's a week. We go up already on a Wednesday with having to take the tractor and stuff. And it's a lot of work dragging all that stuff up, but Kyle's old enough to drive and stuff now too, so it's gotten easier actually. So,
Team effort.
Yep. Very much so.
Yeah. Some good times there sitting in the stands with you there.
Oh God, John. We've had some dandies over
There's
the years.
some dandies there, yeah. We're not going to get all carried away today. No, we're not. Taste of beer later.
Yeah.
Each.
I think the problem up there is the heat.
It is sitting on the aluminum bleachers.
Yeah, it's warm out like that.
And the
beer's
tastes
cold.
so good.
I might talk about Mark Ruff a little bit, but how his face is kind of burned. I believe it was from Toma one day. We were, I said, Mark, you probably should put some sunblock on your face. It's just hotter than hell here. I ain't a girl, I don't need sunblock. His face burned great. And I think to this day he's still paying for that. I don't know. But yeah, it can get hot there and no wind in there sometimes too.
Yeah, the air doesn't move. No, curtains all the way around it, and the air not moving there.
Yeah. We used to go up there quite a bit too. I haven't lately, but I get enough pulling. There's everything else going on.
Yeah, that's usually Ross's birthday.
Yeah.
We've been there a couple times, haven't we?
Yeah.
Toma tractor pull.
Well, should we take a little tour of the office and show what you got in there a little bit?
We should also mention we do like deer hunt too.
I see some deer heads in there. That's what I was going to ask. I said some deer heads in there. You must like to hunt.
Yeah. Jared Ripley's too. Yeah, he's got some nice mounts in his office.
Yep.
I think Kyle's got the nicest one that we have now is actually his house. That we never shot.
Right off the farm.
Over at one of our farms, no, not far from here, about a mile and a half away. Our Leffler farm, we call it, it's on Leffler Road. The tributary to the Crawfish River actually runs through there, and of course, so does deer. So
Yeah.
Good hot spot.
it is.
Pretty good hunting ground.
Yep. You got to have that one farm that's just perfect for that.
Yes. It keeps everybody else out
They
of
don't
it.
let us hold in there.
Yeah.
You got a lot of open ground out here, so you can make some long shots.
That's right, and we have to.
Yeah.
There's one of the deer that's hanging in the wall in the office. I actually shot it over 500 yards away, and that's not abnormal around here.
So before we go through the office, so who are some of the people that help out with the engine, tire, whatever, the whole program here you'd like to mention?
Riverside Engines worked with us from the start, even when we were at a hot farm. Phil actually never saw that motor. I just got parts for him for that one, and we put that one together ourselves. And now it's kind of flipped on this one. I've never seen the inside of this motor, and he's done it all. But that's only because it isn't broke, so up till now. And tire-wise, we worked with Mark Korth since we started pulling too, and
K3 tires?
safety tire. And Mark Goldberg does a lot for us on our transmission and rear end. He's been there to help us put that back together when we grenaded. So,
Goldberg High Performance?
yes,
Who's got your fuel and air?
that's Fair Valley.
Fair Valley?
Dennis does that for us.
Yep, that's good.
There again, we haven't touched anything since we started. Actually, the pump and everything is there right now, and just because we thought maybe we should have checked it out.
You run it off the stand, see if it's all right? Yep.
And maybe we'll do some updates. We'll see.
Yep. It's cheap to do that, just have it check it.
Yep.
It's cheaper than letting it go when something's going bad.
And it's so nice to have guys you can work with that are all over here.
Yeah.
If I got a problem, I can throw it in the truck and go, and it's there. And don't have to worry about shipping or something happening handling wise and the time.
Right.
Tire wise, we're about 20 minutes away.
Yeah, we're about 25 minutes away, so it's
25 minutes away, and a little bit of a ride to Ohio, about 8 hours. I suppose.
great. Yeah, we don't usually make that trip.
Well, when that's the problem, you're not in a hurry.
Yeah. We won't be running tonight.
No,
Usually
but great.
Yeah.
Can't say enough good about the people we work with. They've been fantastic.
The other part of Paulson Crest Farms, you guys are seed corn salesmen, or seed salesmen, I should say, too, Pioneer Seed. So,
My dad actually sold for 42 years.
wow.
And I took over the seed business in 2015. And now Kyle, he helps me too, so it just keeps going from generation to generation.
How many customers you have?
Oh, we probably got 35.
So that keeps you plenty busy, too.
Anywhere from huge customers to little ones, you treat them, try to treat everybody exactly the same as far as service and whatnot. And that's got to be the big part of a seed dealer is, we got seed tenders. We let our customers use our seed tenders for nothing. It's just part of, if you want to buy bulk soybeans or corn and you don't have a seed tender, we'll provide one for you. The big guys usually have their own because they have to.
Yeah.
But you get some of the smaller guys, especially older guys, they realize, God, it sucks throwing 45 bags of beans in a drill, but it ain't too hard to hit the button on that seed tender and fill it up. So
A lot quicker.
they try it once and then they're like, oh, I don't want to buy bags anymore.
Yeah. So you guys deliver then too, or they come pick it up mainly, or you deliver and everything?
We
Or?
pretty much deliver all of it.
I'd say about 75%. We got neighbors that buy from us, so they'll just come down with a trailer and grab it too. So.
And some guys have their own seed wagon they like to use. So they'll bring that over. We load their wagon because they don't have a forklift or something like that. And we do, and we just set it on and they're good to go.
That's good.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well-
Is this, Al, do you have all the seed here that you sell, or you still got some coming?
We got a little bit coming, but all the soybeans are here and we still got a little corn coming in. Yep. We actually just got some in 2 nights ago at 8 o'clock at night. I helped a guy out. He said, would you mind unloading me tonight? And I said, not at all. I'm here. So
Well, if you're gonna get it today, Santa better bring it with a sleigh.
yeah.
A big sleigh.
Right. All right, this is the shed. You got storage for seed corn and some machinery in here. Nice looking shed and shop.
Our shed itself, the whole thing is 200 feet long, 80 feet wide. 80 feet of it is shop, and then the remaining 120 is this shed, and we just keep pouring more concrete as we need it for the seed. And we could use another shed really bad because we got a lot of stuff sitting outside yet.
Yeah, what farmer couldn't?
Right.
Never is big enough.
No.
Right.
Yeah, tractor Jenga. Is that
Yep.
what I heard?
Yep. Tractor Jenga getting them all in the shop here.
There's even a pulling trailer tucked back in that corner.
Nice.
Yeah. Put the auger out so somebody backs into it.
That's right.
Yep.
Yep,
One of the bolts gotta be in here too.
there you go.
I still have my 4020 that I bought when I was a senior in high school. That's my 4020.
Right there?
Yep. That always goes to the fair every year, and that does the road killing of the track for the Dodge County Fair.
Oh,
That's actually Chris Feller's road killer.
oh, is it?
Yep.
Track builder.
There it is.
There it is. Anything else you want to say about what we got out here?
Well, 2 757 lawnmowers for the 4 acres of lawn that we have around this place.
Right. Who gets to do that?
Me.
Hey, you got to drive both of them?
Runs
No.
one out of gas and jumps on the other.
And there's the snow plowing rig.
Right.
That's about it.
We didn't do much with that today.
No. I'm all
He must
sick
work for
of
the
that.
county too.
Right. County.
Township.
Yeah.
Dane County, they need to get shit done there, do they?
No.
You want to tell us a little bit about what you do for farming acres and what all you grow?
We run about 1,300 acres. There's corn and beans right now. Do a little custom planting for a few guys and some custom spraying as well.
Yep. Do you help your brother? Is he still dairy down there? You work with him too, or?
Brian sold the dairy in 2019, and he kept all his land though.
Yeah.
And now he's actually running his himself.
Okay. Is this self-feed to the dairy? Or?
No. He did a little bit first year, and he does work on a little bit on some manure stuff.
Yeah.
They need acres to spread on, so.
Yeah. How many cows are milking there?
Yeah, there's still 500 and some cows. Actually, all the cows stayed too.
Did they?
Yeah.
And most of the equipment even, they bought it kind of lock, stock, and barrel.
Turnkey?
Yep.
Yep. You do all your own spraying and tillage and start to finish everything?
Yeah, Kyle and I both got our custom app licenses so we can spray. We've been spraying for a lot of years, and it's nice having another guy to do it now. I'm sure you know what it's like at your place too.
Yep. Turn it over to the boys, makes it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
But then we decided to take on more work, so that's just how it goes.
It's catch-22.
Right. You get more help, you do more work. Supposed to be slowing down, but it's not that way.
No,
But you look to expand.
we always are, but you know how tough it is.
The competition over here is pretty tough, I think.
It's pretty bad. You know, we're not too far from DeForest and Wanakee and Dane County areas here that, you know, there's guys that sell land by the square foot and back by the acre, you know. And,
Yeah. You hear land going for over $20,000 an acre around there.
yeah.
Baldwin Filters. Empty.
Wish you could have bought it all when it was $1,200, right?
You know, when I first bought this farm was back in '87, and it was $800 an acre.
Yep.
And geez, if we would only had money then.
Should have bought more.
But interest rates were pretty high, and farming wasn't much fun back then. And you know, we had a lot of $1 corn, and we lived off our little scrawny LDP, and we're damn glad to just make our payments. You know,
A lot of guys these days don't even know what the LDP is.
there's a lot of younger farmers that have never lived through that.
Right. My dad always tells a story about land along Lake Wisconsin when he wanted for $50 and for $1 million for half an acre.
Yeah.
You know, everybody knows worthless land there. Who wants to live next to the lake? You know, but now everybody does.
Yes.
Yep.
But, now what do you do for the next thing? You know, there's going to be something someday, but you don't know what it is.
And you don't know where it's going to go. You know, right now with the interest rates where they are, things are going to tuck back a little bit.
Yeah.
But hopefully most people got stuff locked in at a good rate and don't have to worry too much.
Right. Well, hopefully, but that changes. You know, farmers can't really lock stuff in forever.
No.
That's it. A lot of people not in the ag world don't understand why you can't lock it in for 30 years sometimes.
Right. A lot of times you got to renew every 3 to 5 years or whatever, and that's as long as they're going to give you.
They're starting to get some banks that just, you know, specialize in ag, so they get some stuff done like that. But no, it's talking to Kyle. What do you plan on farming the rest of your life too here?
Yeah. As long as things keep going well, and I like selling seed too.
Yeah.
I mean, the farming is still 75% what we do, but I like the opportunities I get to go and talk to neighboring farms and visit, and then, you know, being so close to Pioneer, you feel one step ahead on what's coming and what's new and the new technology that's out there. So it's nice that we get to do both.
Do you do any test plots here for Pioneer?
We do test plots. My uncle's got a field right over that way that we do a big plot on, and then another neighboring farm. We don't personally, just because this farm we got right here, close to the shop, it's not set up perfect water tile wise for. There's too many inconsistencies, and the number one thing you want in a plot is for it to all be the same.
Yeah.
So we don't feel as though it's fair to do one here, so that's why we travel around a little bit for our plots.
Yeah, we do a test plot for Pioneer too, and we get the bags. There's like 300 different varieties in an acre, and it's or whatever, and they come in little like 100 seed bags.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple years ago when we had a drought, like last time 17, 15 when we had a dry year, there was all the varieties out there and they were all dead except for 3 of them.
Really?
And they stayed green as hell. I always wanted to know what they were, but they don't tell you. It's just a barcode on them.
Oh yeah.
That was, you were doing an impact plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, those plots are how Pioneer decides what hybrid is gonna move forward with us, and there's many throughout the state, they're all identical as far as the layout. And that's been working well, they've been doing that for quite a while now, probably, I'd say approximately 10 years or more.
Yep.
And that's our product advancement, that's when they finally see the real dirt that we also live off of.
Right.
That's the impact plots, and that's been working well.
Mm-hmm. How many would you say they do in the state?
At least 50.
Yeah.
We got them under irrigation and out in the sand. And,
Yep. And then that's how they get their, sorry to cut you off, but that's, when they come out with a hybrid, they'll tell us right away, this one's going to be good in sand, or this one's going to be good in heavy ground.
Yeah.
This is going to be, you can put it anywhere.
drought tolerant and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It's like, I think it's the impact plots is the only reason they get that type of information.
Right. And I wonder how they pick them seeds to begin with, though. When you go in the field and that's stressed and drought, and there's one stock that's green. Well, let's take that seed and keep it,
Yep.
I do remember walking your impact plot. It's probably been 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, that's probably about when I was. But, what else is on the horizon? I'm waiting for John here. John's, it's snowing outside like crazy. I don't think Columbia County has a snowplow out on the road anywhere yet. You're in Columbia County here yet?
Yeah, they do everything in this county.
We're right
That's how
on the
you do
edge.
it well.
Yeah. The snow on the road is a foot deep, and John's, people that don't know, John is a dispatcher for Dane County, and when it snows, he's the one that gets the trucks where they need to be. But he'll be here in a little bit, and we'll get to talking about the tractor a little bit and anything else. Good.
Well, there we go. We have it. So, Strandman, it's not snowing today. It's clearly very nice out at your house, buddy. I can see the sun. So
It is. And my allergies are bothering me, so my eyes are burning.
yeah.
It was a snowy day, and I had to cut trail to get to Al's. And there's a couple spots there. I didn't know if we were going to make it or not, but we made her.
So if you've been watching, we shared the interview that John and Greg did. Was that back in February or was that in March, guys? Do you remember exactly what day it was?
Well, that was March.
I think it's early March.
It was early March.
Because we had a pretty snowy spring, if I remember correctly. I know it's kind of funny now, but it's almost June, but we had some snow there for quite a while. Now we need some moisture again, as dry as can be. So
Yeah.
yep. All right, I need to know. Please type in your questions for Al and Kyle and Stranley. Greg's jumping on here in a few minutes. He just texted me. But what does LDP mean, Al, from the farming standpoint? Talk about the dose.
Well, the LDP was a little thing we got out of it was from the Farm Service Agency. It was a very small payment you'd get. It was like a bonus. Like if you had an LDP payment, it was a very small payment that would actually, it might only be 15 or 18 cents, but it was like a bonus for what you sold your corn for.
Okay.
And I don't know how to describe it really. It's going quite well, actually. And that was kind of difference between profit and loss back in those days.
Yeah. No, that's it's fun. I mean, it's good to hear that kind of stuff because I don't understand all of it. My dad's been farming his whole life, Al, but I haven't kept up with all that stuff. And Mom and Dad got divorced, I ended up in Wisconsin, and never got into the farming stuff. So
it wasn't a lot of fun farming back then.
yeah, I understand. Kyle, it's fun hearing you talk about farming and growing up with your dad, and like we talked about before John got on. I remember watching you for the first time down in Edgerton, Father's Day weekend, and to hear Al say hey, that was the best day, kind of the best day ever. That's what pulling's all about. I mean, John, you're experiencing that with Ross, with the garden tractors, and it won't be long before Ross is bending over a mini rod. We all know that's going to happen. And that's why I got into this was, because of my dad as well. And it's just fun to see that bond grow and the friendships through all of that, throughout the sport, through the many, many years. So, Strandman, let's talk about the benefit pool a little bit, if you guys don't mind. We're coming up on that super, super fast. So, somebody says, you guys want to make a run for points this summer or just hit the polls you want to? Also, Kyle Smile, you're big time now on camera. I'm not sure who's saying that, but we're live on a bunch of different pages and groups. So I'll go find out who's doing that. So
it's probably his mother wanting to know the inside scoop between those two guys, and she's got him cornered.
Yeah, this would be the chance. We got him on camera, and it's all recorded. So
then it's Kyle's girlfriend. Could be.
Yeah. Let me go find out.
Jesus.
You'll have that. That was a great day. Thanks for letting us come up there, but it was snowy, and it was very interesting getting up to your guys' place that day. But beautiful shop tour. Thanks for letting us up there. I see you're sitting in the office break room there, looking at all the Badger Skate pulling trophies behind you on the wall. It's amazing. And then your mounts are just off to the side there. You guys got a great place.
Yeah, we didn't actually. I guess we don't have any of those in the camera view right now, do we? But
Yeah, what are there in here? 4 deer heads. All of them, they had a shot. But yeah, I guess that's our other hobby is we do like deer hunting. So between the pulling trophies and the deer heads, that's what makes up the office or break room, you could call it.
Man, Alan, you were so competitive. I mean, and you're doing well with the Light Pro, but man, your hot farm days, you were one of those 5 guys that went, oh crap, every time. I remember I got mine out in 2013, and those first couple years were very, very humbling against all you guys. There was a lot of ass kickings given out by you, Mr. Paulson. So
we were very lucky back in those days. We had a good combination, I guess, and we won 33 polls in 7 years. I don't know how or why it works so well, but the tractor really did great in that class.
Yep. I know John touched on a little bit in the interview, but what was the motivation to go to Light Pro?
I think we were done. We were just done in the 466 class. We didn't have any goals to achieve anymore, and we wanted to move on. And I just love that Light Pro stock class. It was just every time you heard one take off, even though it was only John Meyer and
Colin.
Well, Colin, and we also had Castor in there once in a while. That first year, it's like I just couldn't get over the RPMs and the excitement of when those tractors went down the track, and it's like that's a class we want, and then the other opportunities of being in that class to go to Louisville. I guess Louisville was always a bucket list thing, and to get to pull in a class that gave you the opportunity to actually pull there is what I wanted to do. And I didn't feel as though maybe we'd ever get there in hot farm class. So, I wanted to make the switch. I don't think anybody wanted to see us anymore in the hot farm class anyway.
No, I don't. I think they had a going away party for you, Al. But you were not invited, Mr. Paulson. You were not invited. So
you know what they did? They passed the hat.
Yep.
Here you go. Here's the start of the next class.
No, but it's fun. It's kind of fun to see like what classes people will move up into, or move up. Like for me, I watched Galaxy's down there. What's that pole, Al, that we don't have anymore on the Badger State schedule, but it was kind of always Adam Adrian's hometown pole.
Lancaster.
No, that Glen Haven. It was one
right along the highway. It was right along the highway, Jason. Now I can't think of the name of it though.
But that was
Remember,
no, not Leaf River.
you announced there for us when we pulled there.
Yep.
And I remember the trailer was parked like tight up against the highway.
Yep.
And
Oh
the
man.
track was like right next to the highway, and you guys were basically in a road ditch.
Yep.
And that was such a cool pull. It was a
Heck
good
of a track. Just a clay. It's not Leaf River. Kevin Earhart says it's not Leaf River. It's in Wisconsin. It's like Glen Haven, but they call it something.
It wasn't Glen Haven. It was
Bloomington. Dustin Hook. Yep, Dustin Hook says Bloomington. Yep.
There you go. There
That
it
was that was my first real ever exposure to the 4-1 class. And then, when the hot farm blew up that one time, and I just said, I want more. And at the time, 4-1 was kind of the hot class, in that 14 and 15 time frame when I jumped into that class. So I love the light pro class. You guys talked about it, you and John already. The horsepower to weight ratio, that's what makes it fun. You got to drive them. You really got to drive a light pro. And you guys hang that front end up in the air, and it's fun. It's a really, really fun class. It's not quite as crazy as a mini rod or a light super, but it's pretty damn close. Well, nothing's as crazy as a mini rod, Stranley.
Right.
You guys are all going to the insane asylum as far as I'm concerned. But they're fun to watch. They're fun to But Bloomington, that was fun. So. Yeah, if anybody has any questions for Al or Kyle, please type them into the comments. I'm gonna jump off in a few minutes and let you guys keep going. I got to go start up Let's Grow Polling, but you guys just keep going, and then Stranley, just shoot me a text when you wrap up. I don't want to take anything away from Al and Kyle here tonight. So,
You guys got the tractor all back together, ready to go, or close?
Not even close.
Not even close,
Nope.
John.
We got the rear end back from Kohlberg's. Still waiting on an engine. It's going to be your typical probably night or two before the first pull, put it all back together, and hope to God everything runs right. So, yeah.
Wow, you guys do better work under pressure. No sense having a month ahead of time, and you'll change something and move it around, and you don't want to do that.
Why should anything be different than normal, John, right?
Well, there's probably 25, 30 other guys in the same boat as you guys are, getting things put back together. And I got a couple of them sitting in the shop behind me over here that's been the same program, but that's on my account, not anybody else's, but it's just time, family stuff. And but it'll get there eventually. You guys will get it done, and I bet you guys will have it ready to go. So we still got some time.
We're really happy with the way the rear end looks. The whole girdling of that really should make it stronger, and hopefully we won't have any problems anymore.
So last year, what happened, folks, is didn't hear earlier on. The rear end broke, and I think it was when Kyle was driving, and when it broke, it further down the road there ended up hurting the motor, probably because of that run. But where did it break? Was it Baraboo?
Yeah,
Baraboo.
Baraboo. And then the week before Beaver Dam, you finished it off, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was at Hillsboro.
Yeah.
Yep. Dad pulled the
Tough.
first night, made a good run, and then the second day at Hillsboro, I pulled and it just laid down. It didn't blow or anything. It just laid down, and then we tried rolling it over and stuff, and it was coughing air out the intake of the turbo. We just knew we had a valve issue, and we were going to be way too busy getting ready for Beaver Dam. So that's when we just pulled the plug on the season, and didn't feel as though there was any need to thrash at that point. It's like, let's just, get it ready for next year. So that's what we decided then. And well, still waiting on the motor, but that's a whole different story. How we get into harvest and that time of year, and then tractor pulling completely gets put on the back burner when you're combining soybeans and corn. Yep. So.
Well, and I think winter pulling has got so busy now. It seems like our engine builder is so busy during the winter now because of all the winter pulling going on, and guys are breaking a lot of stuff there too, and it just they never get a break anymore. I almost think the break is actually right at the end of our pulling season.
I think a small little itty bitty window. And I know talking to Mark Korth many a times too over the years that I can touch them up for you, but I'm trying to get these done for this pole and then get these done for this pole, and then we'll fit you in there. And like I say, I think it just goes right through the winter because once fall comes, and I think guys are, like for Cork looking for tires and want new tires for Louisville or the Winter Nationals or Cut or, it's just, I don't think they ever slow down anymore. And pulling in general, like what Greg Elsing does and the group, it is a year-round job, scheduling and sponsors and getting everything put together before the first pull and all the help, getting that lined up. It is a full-time job. And
The behind the scenes thing is really big, and people not everybody realizes how much work there is.
Right.
Mhm.
And then we add something on like this show. This takes quite a bit too, but it's so much fun. It's so much fun visiting everybody at their shops, and we're going to continue. Even if we visited a shop every weekend, we couldn't get them all in a year.
No.
There's too many. So we'll keep pecking at it and do different things. And if anybody's got any ideas they'd want to throw at us, they can throw it in there. And we got some people helping us out in the sponsorship world too. Casper Egg, Trip Downing helps us out. Farm Street Toys, and also Slama Enterprises are all jumped on board for the down and dirty with the Badger State tractor pullers.
No, that's nice. I appreciate those guys stepping in and helping us out a little bit. And, it's fun to be a part of the organization. It's fun to be on the board of directors and be an important part of communicating with your class and making decisions. And I'm proud to do it. I'm happy to do it.
Quite the class, and like you guys are talking, it's growing and catching on, and it's got to be fun not pulling just with Badger State too, but like you said, being able to go to Louisville or Toma that you've been to so many times and get to pull in them places, and that's what's a lot of fun too. Which on my tractor being the level that I'm at, I don't get the opportunity to go to like Toma or the bigger ones that would be also like on my bucket list to drive at one time and pull too, but still have a lot of fun and a lot of great people. And throughout the summer, Badger State is a blast. Like Macville coming up, it's a lot of fun for us with the caliber mini rods we got. Be able to go up there and put on a show, and that one's right around the corner too. Our first pull is at the charity benefit pull for UW, and the second one is 2 nights up to Macville. You guys are there one night too, aren't you?
We're actually there
both
for
nights.
both nights this year, John. It's a silver series for our class.
Oh, okay. Yep. So Silver Series will both nights. So fingers crossed we get the old
Yeah, let's
green
hope.
together.
We hope we have it up and running by then, I tell you.
Yeah, and thank you to Roger and Waylon Baum for having our class up there to Macville. They put on a really, really great poll, and they're great people too. So wouldn't be there without those guys.
Yeah. And your tractor to begin with, I don't know if we touched on that. It took you a while to put that together. Remember when you were working on it and you were shooting for that spring and we talked and I said, hey, it's not all, it's kind of like waiting right now. It's not all falling together, but when it does, like I told you, you'll be happy with it. It'll be a nice piece when you're done. And when you do bring it out, you're going to be glad, and it was actually a year behind of what you anticipated putting it together, but it did turn out to be a nice piece.
John, I still got to thank you for all the help. You and I worked together a lot on that thing, and it was a lot of fun. And when it did come out, it was a good tractor, and it took us a while to get it to the point where it really was a really good tractor, but we started out right. And thank you for that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun helping down there and learning a lot down at Wildman's and helping out a bunch of different tractors was always a pleasure. And seeing the finished thing, and the few little things that I did do, it's just glad to help out. So
I can't thank Craig and Kurt and the guys and even Jim, for all the hospitality and the things you learn. I don't know where you'd learn any of that stuff if you weren't building them like that. You know, you learn a lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of neat ways of doing things, and Craig's always he's always coming up with something different. His ingenuity is amazing, and then watching someone like him bend a piece of metal, you look at him as he's starting bending it, and how's he going to do that? And you see it done, you're like, wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty neat learning some of those things, and building that first frame was fun. You know, I had it on the build table there, and what do you think about putting this chunk here? And yeah, that looks good, burner in, he says. And we kept going until it was done. And actually, that frame I never even used. I think that's on one of the Brett Flo's tractors, a dirt pays or
Pay dirt.
or which one of the two. That first
That's
frame I actually built myself. I never even used. We sold it. And actually, I think Luke and was it Philip? I think it was Philip. Always came with Luke. I think they actually built the frame that's really on my tractor. So, and I got to say, the loading job isn't nearly as good as mine. So, I'll just give him a crap about that every time I see him.
Yeah. Yep. Philip, he come over a few times. Yeah.
I remember
crazy. Yeah. Well, hopefully things get put together and everything will come together and should be a good season for you guys.
We hope so. I mean, I'm optimistic that we'll get our stuff back in time, but if it doesn't, we'll make the best of it. So,
Yep.
Anybody you'd like to thank while we got you on here again that helps you out with that thing or helps sponsor it or works on it or helps you at the polls or, parts and pieces or?
Well, obviously Riverside Engine and Mark Korth and Mark Kohlberg. They've always been there for us when we needed their help, and they've done everything. And Dennis has been so good to us at Fair Valley. It's so nice to work with somebody that's close to home. I got to thank everybody in Badger State. I mean, so glad when I decided to pull at Badger State. And, at first I wasn't thinking about doing that. And, after a while you just realize, well, why wouldn't you go to Badger State and start there? That's just seemed like the premier club to pull with. And that ended up being the greatest decision ever, and we met a lot of nice people and had a great time. And I think, pretty proud to be part of it.
I am too, and everybody there is so great and so gracious, and when the chips are down, they're all right there standing in the line to help you out, whether it be anything, family, pulling tractor, truck, whatever. They're all right there. They're lining up at the door. What do you need? What do you got to have? Let's get her done, And it shows too. You go to their banquet. I think we're 485 or 487 people ate at the banquet this last year. That was like an all-time high so far. And
it's crazy.
It's amazing. Not only that, when we live, how many people were on, live streaming for the banquet too. And that banquet is so much fun.
It is.
It's a great time.
It's the highlight of the year, all them years we've gotten together and had a good time that night, and the amount of people that show up, and they're all friends, and we're not dressed in grubby pulling clothes. We're actually dressed up nice, and it's just a fun night out.
You don't come running over the other table smell like you just took off a fuel injection line, huh?
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Well, of course, you got to thank Mom.
Oh yeah, I better thank my wife for putting up with us for all these years of doing this. I mean, it's true. You got to have somebody that supports you, and she has supported me, and I think it's even better now when Kyle's pulling. She really seems to enjoy it even more, and it is fun to go to the next generation and watch them pull. It's just you're nervous about putting somebody in that chair.
You're just as proud too, and
you're exactly right, John.
I think I lost him.
Are we
Are you
back?
back, are you back with
You're
us,
back
John?
with us, John.
Lost you for a second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
Probably
No,
me, my internet.
It is pretty awesome to be on the sideline watching your tractor go down the track with your son in the chair. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's pretty cool.
It's one of them things that's hard to describe. And I built Ross a garden tractor.
I think he's having a little trouble again.
Yeah, I think he's got some slow internet. Can you hear us now, John?
I'm back. Maybe it's
You're
Are you
back
back?
with us? You'll talk to him.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Having Ross drive and watching him enjoy it and enjoy the sport of pulling, and also competition and being a good competitor is it's great. So someday, Kyle, hopefully you'll be able to enjoy that too.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, another thing is when you got another driver on the tractor, sometimes, Dad sees stuff that I don't see standing on the sidelines, but he can see it. He's watching the tires if they're wadding up, how many wrinkles are on the tires. And I think sometimes when you get more than one person driving the tractor, you almost learn more, John. So it's been a lot of fun. And we just alternate every pole. We don't complicate it or anything. I mean, lately Dad's gotten a pole twice at Toma. Maybe that'll change this year. Maybe that's a surprise coming that I don't know about. But, that's been his dream for 20 years. And but it's just I'm very grateful that I get to drive the tractor because I haven't spent nearly half of the time that he has working on it. I remember being 9 years old in Wildman's shop sweeping the floor, and they were wrenching on it. And that's actually a memory that's always stuck with me. I'll never forget that. Craig and Kurt, they're like, "Well, you want something to do?" And it's like, "Yeah, I guess." And, yep, swept the floor that day. But no, that's pretty cool. Thinking back to that and now getting to drive it and stuff. And yeah, I wouldn't want to give this up for the world. It's just our hobby that Dad and I get to do. And my best friend Steve, he comes with us to almost every pole. He's learning. He's knowing what to look for too. And it's just you're just with so many friends and family when you're doing this. It's an awesome sport to be a part of.
Yeah, you grew up with it, so you learn so much. And like you said, two drivers. The nice part about that is your dad gets to watch you drive and gets to see how the tractor reacts with different things too. And it's a totally different view, of what transpired from being on the side watching it and being in the seat, because you're focused on the driving part. You're not always, you don't see a lot of things, outside of it. So it is nice in that aspect to have two drivers. Some say, it's not as good because it's not as consistent because no two people drive the same, but you learn from your dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's the closest you'll get is you two driving wise,
Oh yeah.
just like us with our tractor, two different guys driving it, but it's the same thing. I get to see different things, and Brian drives just like I do. So
Yep. And I'll admit I don't drive just like Dad. I'm a little faster to get on the throttle and I don't know, maybe a little bit quicker off the clutch, and that's going to come with more experience, I think, on feeling it a little better. But he had a lot to learn when he went from driving a hot farm to driving this thing because he thought he was going to be able to ride the clutch out, and there's really none of that. When you're at $5,000 on 24 fives and it goes to 6 the second the clutch engages, there's no riding out anything. You're just along for the ride. And
you're right. What's in the seats? That's
yeah, it's a totally different animal, but it is a lot of fun being able to jump on it.
you can't buy experience, Kyle, but you at time it comes to you.
Yeah.
Just with any. So, and it's been, fortunate enough over the years of knowing great people. I've driven different things, Super Farm and Grand National Mini and my brother's 3.6 truck and different stuff. It really teaches you about driving and your senses of driving, especially driving by the seat of, when to get after it. And when you're in somebody else's tractor or truck, or it's new to you, you're really, really tuned in and thinking about what you're doing. Where, your dad drove hot farms for so many years, it's like putting on his favorite pair of work boots that are so comfortable. It's just like a normal, drive around the field. But,
Oh yeah.
Class brings new challenges and amps it up some. So there is a learning curve.
Oh, big time.
Say, John, my wife's been texting me saying we don't have any sound.
You don't?
That's what she's texting me, is we don't have sound.
Huh. Must be on the StreamYard side.
I don't know. I just
Maybe
thought
that's
I'd
on her end.
just want to let you know that that's what I got. So, but I will say this about driving pulling tractor. When I first started, I was so nervous. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't drink anything. I was about ready to throw up every time I pulled. And now I think I could eat a brat and pound the helmet on my head and go down the track. You just get comfortable. And, once you're comfortable with it, then you can really relax. And it almost seems like everything's in slow motion once you're in the seat compared to how it used to be. It used to be so fast. And, I realize it's a very fast pass and you don't spend a lot of time in there, but when you've done it a bunch, it really slows down to you for some reason. And, you sense when you got to get on that brake or whatever you got to do to keep that tractor under control or keep it happy. And sometimes you're just not going to keep it happy because you hit something in the track that it says, I'm not going to be happy and you're going to have to shut her down, but as luck would have it, we haven't had many of those happen,
Yeah. It's not so much adrenaline as you're focused. You're more focused on what's going on, I think. And it's the same with ours too, if you got to think about hitting a brake, you're way too late.
You're a mile too late if you had to think about it.
So it's got to come naturally to you, and that takes time. But once you get there, then it's like a glove. You put that glove on and it fits just perfect, and it's a good day, good ride.
I always say you got to have that given or bone in your body, and if you don't have that given or bone, you're probably not going to be a driver of a pulling tractor. You got to know how to just gear her, And
the other part too, you hear people talk or, oh, geez, so nervous, you're worried about blowing it up. Well, that's in the back of your head. But if you were worried about hurting it, you wouldn't take it out of the shop. Just keep it clean, leave it sit right there. You know that whether Kyle's in the seat, you're in the seat, or if I'm in the seat, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen. It doesn't matter who's in the seat. I mean, it's a performance machine that, it's right on the edge. You're going to find a weak spot.
We don't have any warranty on it, that's for sure.
No. It's I don't even think you get to the door or into the driveway warranty, is it?
I don't think so. There's no warranty.
How about yours? 9/10 of the law, that's you.
Yep. Well, and of course, it was running its best before we had problems with it. At Baraboo, it sounded really good, felt really good, and then the rear end let go. Well, it was all downhill from there, but like you said, they do run their best right before they go.
Yeah, you had a good pass going too. You were really moving when it went, and you never know when something like that's gonna happen. But now you reworked it, like you said, you got a girdle in it now and upgraded it, so that'll be good. It'll be the next weak point.
Yeah.
I was upset with the component thing at first, but after you realize, what you have to do to hold them together to keep them running even in this class. It's like, we're kind of dumb not to, go that route eventually. I think it's just going to be cheaper at the end. But there's never good time to switch from cast to component. It's always going to be bad. Everybody's got existing stuff that they're going to be upset about, and there's just never a good time to do it. It's just a matter of having to do it,
Yep. And, then what do? Do you keep your tin work and move that over to the next one, or do you sell that as a roller and let it go, or what do you do with those? So then when you do start over, that's a large growing pain too. And if you're going to start over, then, if you're thinking of bringing out a new component chassis for next season, you better start now. Or, this last winter, start working on it to get yourself there, because you know how it goes already, So you got to
there's
be.
there's almost nothing, John, that'll work on a component. Everything dimensionally is so different on a component tractor than a cast tractor that even the hood wouldn't fit right. You'd have to cut it up pretty good to make it work, and it's basically you'd have to start over with a new tractor.
Lost him again.
I think we lost John again.
Must be my internet.
You're just a little slow, John, but we're used to that.
We talked about the short bus there. I don't know if you remember that at all.
That's all right. Yeah. You're doing pretty good.
I drive it. I open the door. Come on. You're fine. You're with me.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. If you can't laugh at yourself, then you shouldn't be laughing at all, right?
That's right.
That's true. We've all done it.
Most of my material is just making fun of other people, so without that, I'm lost.
And yourself.
And myself,
Yeah.
It comes right back, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually I gotta stay about 2 steps ahead of Elsinger. He's right on top of me.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
He's not on here tonight, so we can pound jams at him pretty easily.
Very true.
You got to be quick.
I'm afraid John's a little slow again.
Yeah.
I can now on my phone, she says.
Oh, maybe it's working now.
Are you still there, John?
I think we lost him. Oh, here he is.
There he's
Here we
back.
are. I think it's a sign, so we probably better call her a night here. I'm
We
thinking.
probably should.
Yeah, we should.
Tell you what, it was a lot of fun, John.
Thank you guys so much, and thanks for being on Badger State Down and Dirty with Greg and myself and Jason, and hope everything gets together, and good luck in 2023.
Well, thanks, John.
Yeah.
We hope so, too, and good luck to you and your class, too.
Thank you, John.
All right, see you guys.
All right.
Talk later.
You bet.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.